Don't miss the winners and losers in the new Chaos Demon Codex.
Spiking bits.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Rob Baer with you again today. Taking a look at the new Chaos Demon Codex. Now, I can't scarcely remember a demon book or a codex release that hasn't had more drama already with this thing. Now, you know, it is a $40 codex, new release this week, of course, 144-page hardback with all the normal sections in here. You know, you got your Boucher talking about, you know, all the units and breaking them down, giving you all the fluff. There's, you know, updated fluff in here on the Great Rift and all the things that's going on with the kind of chaos side of basically trying to take over the galaxy or cut it in half with the Citrix Maledictum and all that stuff. Then it gets into painted army section, and of course all of your magnificent war scrolls in here. There's 19 stratagems, 24 unique warlord traits, you know, 6 for each of the factions of chaos, so that's where you get the 24 from right there. Hellforged artifacts, there's actually a lot in here. There's like 15 of them. Tons of psychic powers, you know, 6 for each faction, of course, and then you always get smite, so that's I guess that, and I don't know where you get 21 from. 6 for each, and then smite. I don't know. I don't know where the other 2 came from, but I guess they're in here. We'll figure that one out. Oh, because there's a Dark Hereticus in here for Bellicor, so he's got 3 as well. That was like, that math isn't even right. How did we get there? What happened? Overall, I'm actually not sure how many war scrolls are in here. There's a bunch. I mean, it's this whole section here from page 86 to 118. Actually, the feculent gnarl maws are pieces of terrain. They're the very last data sheet there, so well over 30 of them in this book. So, you know, it's good value as far as, you know, picking up a book for demons and getting your value out of it. Now, like I said, on the drama side of things, this is one of those weird releases that there's so much drama with some of the rules leaks that folks are really kind of don't know what's going on, and the internet's a little abuzz with it. And let's just kind of start there. I'm really just taken aback by this, because I want to hobby on my demons, but obviously I don't want to, like, you know, paint something up and do some hobby on a unit that I might not quite need, unfortunately, and you know, for the hobby. And that's the problem where it comes in is you don't want to waste your time, and you want to have fun. You don't want to feel bad. He's like, oh man, why did I waste my time, you know, putting that together and painting it all up for myself? You know, not a lot of, I get things done. I don't get them like quite finished, you know, like I'm done with this. I'll come back to it if I get to it. So Denizens of the Warp is the stratagem that's got everybody talking right now. It's a 1 command point or a 2 command point stratagem, where it basically allows you to keep a demon unit off the board in reserve, and then it comes in 9 inches away from enemy models. Basic deep strike that we've all come to know and love from 8th edition 40k. There's 2 different settings for it, so to speak. If you're 8 power level or less, you pay 1 command point to do this. If you're 9 power level or more, you pay 2 command points. The problem is this keyword demon, and keyword demon unlocks a lot of different things out there, including Magnus and Mortarion. There's 6 demon units in the Death Guard book right off the bat. There's demon units, Hellforged demons, in the Forge World Imperial Armor book. So already folks are like, hey man, I want to bring them in. No, you know, you don't see as many Magnuses on the table anymore, unfortunately, because he just gets shot off the table. And so a lot of folks that spent all that money on Magnus just to have the rule shift, you know, 6 months later when 8th edition came out, you know, and I spent all that hobby, you know, sweat equity into it. They want to play with their toys, and why shouldn't they, you know? And this is the easiest way to play with, you know, Morty and Magnus, and have them on the table and have them not get shot off the table on the first turn. If you can deep strike them in, that's great. You know, it's really exciting. It gets people excited. It gets me excited. Like, oh crap, I can take Mortarion, Death Shroud automatically deep strike. They're 180 points now. They're reduced points. With the chapter approved book, they went from 225 to 180. Man, I start getting them hobby juices going. I start wanting the hobby. Okay, what else can I put in a Death Guard book? Okay, well, I need to take demons because I need a demon detachment in order to take these stratagems. But once you do, you can spend command points to do whatever. I mean, that's rules as written right here. So now we're already hearing things about, you know, in tournament play on the ITC circuit that might get changed, which it leaves a lot of uncertainty out there, a lot of question marks. I don't like question marks. Question marks lead to feel badsies. Maybe this is just me talking, but you know, reading the comments and stuff we see on the internet, I feel like we have a good pulse on the issue here. So that aside, whether or not that is errated or updated or FAQ'd, there's still some decent stuff in here that works well together. But once you start looking at a lot of the changes, it seems like the book starts to lose a little bit of its luster, unfortunately. Now, we put out the post a few days ago, like the top 30 changes to the Demon book, and I'll put the link right below the video here so you guys can click on it and kind of go through. I'm not going to touch on all of them because you don't want to listen to me drone on for 20-30 minutes about that, I'm sure. But the big one that people are talking about is the horrors, and we'll get to that section here in a second. But I just kind of want to do a quick overview. So obviously we've got new artwork in here, very cool looking stuff. They have, you know, specific things on different of the Chaos factions because they all really get represented well in this book as far as rules go. You know, each having their own psychic powers, their own warlord traits, their specific stratagems keyed to each one of them and stuff. So from a casual or a narrative kind of side of things, I think this book is great. I think it's very well done. You know, having all these new graphics and stuff in here, having an update to demons, and demons obviously pair well with, you know, Chaos Space Marines, and then you've got all these new exciting Nurgle demons like the Great Unclean One, Eroticus, and the Spawn, and all the little super jovial little heralds and things like that. Like this is exciting. Like there's new models, there's new rules. It's very exciting. But then when you get to the back of the book, you see, or the middle of the book rather, you can start to see some of the updates to the painted miniature showcase to all the miniatures and start to get a feel for some of the newer stuff there and maybe some of the older stuff or whatever. And then you get into the rules section, and at the start of each of the rules section, there's special rules, and at the end of each of the data sheet section, there's special rules too. But nothing too crazy in here. We all know what Demonic does, 5-up and vulnerable save. That hasn't really changed in years, to be quite honest. Ethereal form hasn't changed at all. It still grants Tzeentch demons +1 invulnerable save. For the most part, they all have that. Unstoppable ferocity, hey, that's for Khorne. You know, whenever they charge or are charged or heroic intervene, they get +1 to, or they add 1 strength and 1 attack characteristic, which gets the Bloodthirster of Insensate Rage pretty insensate because now he has an extra profile on his axe, and that profile will allow him additional attacks for each time he activates to attack. So that's kind of cool. And then there's obviously a stratagem that allows you to get to attack again. So I think in theory, on the charge or being charged, a Bloodthirster can get of Insensate Rage can get something like 28 or 29 attacks. No, it would be 12 or 13. So it's 24 or 26, I believe. Here he is right here. So now he's got the sweeping blow attack. Points changes, I don't think there was any points changes on this. It's melee strength of user, which is 7, which could go up, you know, to 8. It also gives you -2 and 1 damage. Make 2 hit rolls instead of 1 for each attack made with his weapon. Depending on the profile and your +1 attack, you're either at 6 or 7. So it's 24 or 26 attacks. And then, of course, any Khorne demon can attack again. And I think there's an option for the Bloodletters to do that too. It's a new banner ability right there. So let's kind of flip through the datasheet section here and kind of talk about stuff. Was there any rules that we need to talk about? No, they're all pretty much the same there. Let's see. So I think the Skull Cannon got an update. You can check that out on your own. It's not too much of a game changer. Fate Weaver went down in points. Lord of Change went down in points, but not enough to matter. Changeling had an interesting change, where he used to be -1 within 9 inches. Now his Locust gives a basic Feeling of Pain save of 6 within 9 inches, which completely makes him very undesirable, I think, for a lot of people that were already fielding him. It's for 100 points, you could make the argument that he might have been broken already, but you know, it is a noticeable change and something to definitely be aware of. They did give the Heralds and the Dude on Disc a different name now. They're no longer heralds. They're something that's copyrightable by Games Workshop, and why wouldn't they be? It's their work. It's their thing. Why not protect their interest there, right? Eroticus himself, there he is, 330 points. He comes with a bunch of new rules and stuff, but I'm not sure. I still haven't figured out how these guys work in my head. The same with the Great Unclean ones. They go for 320 or 325, depending on how you take them here. They don't really do a lot of synergistic abilities that we saw kind of in the past with Nurgle, unfortunately. But they do have a thing where I think you get a wound back, or you can, on a 4-up, you can return a slain model for any Nurgle demon. So that would technically splash over Nurgle demons that are, I guess, possessed in Death Guard. So theoretically, that would apply to them. But maybe more importantly, in the demons, you would want to get multi-wound stuff back that are in a squad, but they only come back with 1 wound. So I don't know. Or no, excuse me, it's a whole one. It regenerates a whole one. So it's not like the Psychic Power. Epidemus didn't change, I don't think. Mr. Snails is in here. So that's kind of cool. He is 165 points. He has some interesting abilities. He seems to benefit the beasts a little bit more. You can pause it and read up all about that. Poxbringer is the new name for the Nurgle Herald. And then we got Sloppity Bile Piper, which seems to benefit the Great Unclean One and Beast, so those will combo well together there. Or Spoil Pox Scrivener, who is the Herald with, we'll call him Mr. Snoots. He is the Herald that would benefit Plague Bears. So +1 to all hit rolls make for a Plague Bear units within 6. And on a roll of 7, any Plague Bear unit within 6 immediately can make an additional attack at the same target with the same weapon. So that's kind of cool, I guess. Plague Bears kind of like overwhelm you by numbers and are just incredibly resilient because you take 30 of them, you're -1 to hit. Or excuse me, if you take 30 and you're over 20, you're -1 to hit, which is awesome because now you can just get models back all Ricky Tick. Feculent Narwhal definitely helps you there, giving you +2 to your cover instead of +1 if your unit is wholly within the, I want to say it was 7-inch range of him, give or take, or 6-inch range of the tree itself. So that would get you down from a 6-up to a 4-up normal save, a 5-up demon save, or you could take your disgustingly resilient save on a 5-up, which there is some abilities that with Psychic Powers you could reroll once for that for 2, or excuse me, a stratagem for 2 command points, or you could take Lord Scabathrax from Forge World, and he actually gives you +1 to your roll, or I think it's whatever the, if you happen to get off. Now, I think it's +1. I forget. I haven't even looked at him in a while since they raised his points. But then Epidemus has this here with to reroll 1 for friendly Nurgle Demon if you kill 7 or more units and get the tally off. So if Nurgle Demons do that, which it could be hard or not hard depending on, I guess, your kind of loadout there. Slaanesh, I didn't really dig into Slaanesh a lot other than the fact that they are super quick. And there's ways to activate them before other people. And we'll talk about one of the relics too that I think is probably a standout. Kenny, of course, has a lot to say about that one. Be'lakor in a smaller environment is really, really good. However, he got a little bit of the nerf back because he went up to 280 from 240. So he went up 40 points. He is more resilient than he seems, trust me. At toughness 6, he can take a lot of small arms fire and stuff. He can't take a lot of dedicated heavy weapons. Autocannons like to really tear into him pretty bad. But the fact that he can reroll his saving throws is pretty clutch. And he also has a 4-up, 5-up invulnerable. So you can kind of pick and choose there which one. He is a character, so chances are he might not even get targeted. But if he does, he has a built-in resiliencies for sure. Now, he has 2 really good attacks here. Malefic Talons are going to get you 7 attacks because you get +1 attack there. It's going to clear out little stuff with the stat line here. And then remember, too, he's the Lord of Torment, so you're going to get an extra -1 to enemies' morale within 12 inches. Not just, you know, things that he causes morale, anybody that's taking a morale check. And then, of course, if you want to switch to the Blade of Shadows at Strength 7 at -5 AP, I can count the number of -5 weapons in the game on my hand with 3 damage. He is a slayer of toughness 7 or lower models. Oh my gosh, he does 9 to 12 wounds on average from anything that is toughness 7 that doesn't have an invulnerable save. So yeah, he can get in and mess some stuff up for sure. if you play him wisely, so to speak. And then he has access to 3 Dark Hereticus powers that don't require the targets to be Renegade Astartes. Demon Prince of Chaos, I don't think they changed. Did the points go up on him? We'll have to check. The winged one used to be 180. Plague Bear's Horse. Plague Bears went down to 7 points, I think. They were 8. I want to say that is correct. Yeah, we'll go with that final answer. Then Flamers, Exalted Flamers. Exalted Flamer went up to 90 points from 70. At 70, he was kind of worth taking, but his last cannon, or his 18-inch last cannon shot was only heavy D3, but now it's heavy 3. He can fly, so he can jump the line and do some stuff. He is a character, so it's going to be hard to target him out, but with the changes to the base troops, the horrors here that we just kind of skipped over like it wasn't even a thing. Horrors kind of changed a lot, not exactly for the better, perhaps, but so basically when you take these guys now, their invulnerable saves are different. So for the pink horrors, I think they stayed the same at, they have an invulnerable save of 4 up, but they lost the special ability that gave them the ability to have +1 to their invulnerable. So they're just 4 up normal. Brimstones are going to be 6, and the blues are going to be 5 up invulnerable. Now they can still split and still do your thing, and they're still, I believe, all the same points cost, except for I think horrors went down to 7 points from 10. Their course, their flame attack went up to assault 2 as well at 18, I believe. So only time will tell if people still take them. I think Brims are definitely still worth taking at 30 points. You can fill out a battalion or perhaps a brigade on the cheap, but they definitely have a not being able to get the changeling on them and target them at -1 or get them that -1 targeting boon. And then also their 4 up invulnerable going away. It's hard to say what's going to happen at this point. Screamers changed too. Now their normal attacks are just a lamprey bite with 3 attacks right there. At +2 strength, -3 AP with 2 damage. If you can get them a way to reroll their attacks, maybe if they were hitting on 3s, or even 4s reroll 1s, which is basically like a 3 depending on how you do your math, I feel like that's really good. But at 31 points each, even though they do have fly, I'm not sure how that equates to tabletop necessity, so to speak. So they do move super quick. I don't know. I don't want to say, I don't want to count them out. I want to be hopeful on them because I really enjoyed playing them back in the day, but they were just completely not worth taking as of late. But let's see kind of what happens going forward there. Anything else? I don't think so. Oh, there's the Feculent Gnarlmaw. They basically benefit Nurgle demons except vehicles and monsters. So this is another reason why I guess the only technical vehicle in here in this book would be the Soul Grinder that could be a Nurgle demon. So I guess there is that eventuality, but remember too, there's demonic units. There's I think 3 of the 6 demonic units in Death Guard are vehicles, and then I can think of a whole lot of Hellforged vehicles in Forge World too that could have the Nurgle Demon keyword. So just the fact that they put this in here leads me to believe that they were aware of the fact that you can pair some of that stuff with this book. So we shouldn't all be like flipping out that maybe we want to do things to Mortarion and Magnus. But hey, maybe they overlooked it. I don't know. But that leads me to believe that they were well aware of, you know, the other demons out there. Now, there's some different abilities here. I like the Plague Bell's Chime. Units within 7 at the start of the turn can shoot and or charge this turn, even if it fell back or advanced, which is huge because, you know, you take a wall of 30 Plague Bearers, they shamble across the table. You can get them plus 2 to their movement. They would be up to 7 movement with one of the Heralds, I believe it is. And, you know, then you start locking stuff down. They try to fall back or whatever. Maybe you need to fall back and then recharge them in. Something like that. It gives you options. Not exactly seeing it, but I know there's a lot of powerful Nurgle stuff out there that this might actually benefit a lot. They do damage to stuff too. Any unit within 3 inches could take mortal wounds, which is hilarious to me. And then, of course, they add +2 to saving throws as well. So, like I said, Nurgle Plague Bearers within completely within 7 inches of this thing would be down to a 4-up normal save, 5-up invulnerable, 5-up, of course, disgusting resilient save. And there's all the stuff there. So one thing I did want to show you, I got really excited when I saw the points values were all on one page, but it turns out that that's exactly how they were in the index book, and the only real options here are for the Demon Prince himself. Oh, Demon Prince actually went, no, because you have to give him the Malefic Talons. So he is the same 184 with wings. Womp womp. I thought he went down right there. And then there's Dark Hereticus powers for Be'lakor, because those are the 3 that don't require you to target Heretic Astartes. Oh, so let's talk about the artifacts real quick that you probably need to be aware of. Forbidden Gem allows you to lock out a character, basically preventing him to cannot act until the end of the phase, cannot move, manifest psychic power, shoot, charge, fight, and cannot use any abilities on his status sheet that affect another unit. So I think in theory you could turn off a lot of things like Guilliman, even Saint Celestine. You could lock down Mortarion, prevent him from attack. Remember the assault phase, there's the charge phase, the fight sub phase, so you could turn him off the fight phase, right? So there's a lot of different ways to go about it with this gem, as long as it's within 12 inches. So you can have a Seeker on a Seeker Herald, or whatever they're called for Slaanesh now, just kind of chilling behind your battle line. Somebody runs in, you turn them off, and then they get pounced on by whatever you have back there. That's definitely worth taking. Then there's the Warlord traits, and there's a couple of good ones here. Like, some people were complaining about the Great Unclean one not having a only having a 6-up normal save, 5-up or 5-up invulnerable, 5-up disgusting resilient. But if you make him your Warlord, he gets a save of 4-up, which would be kind of cool. And then some of the named characters down here have specific Warlord traits. Boom, 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 and that all makes sense to me. And I just like to having all these options. And then there's the stratagems, and there's some good stuff in here. There's some bad stuff in here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Some of the Nurgle ones might be a little expensive, but that's because there's so many buffs for Nurgle. Is it competitive? Maybe not. It's probably funsies. I could definitely see it being funsies, and it could get a little ridiculous and create fail badsies if these were cheaper, I feel like. And then, of course, the Denizens of the Warp that we talked about. And then in the back, you've got your psychic powers. There's no point to go over those. They're really not a lot of ridiculous ones. We've seen the majority of half of them already from the index book. So by now, you've probably already got a good idea of what changed and what's different, and just kind of wanted to hear some brief overviews of things in here. I think some units that didn't see play will definitely see play now, and a lot of the units that we're seeing heavy play, maybe a little on the OP side, it kind of got reeled back a little bit. But I think overall that a lot of people are kind of teetering on this whole like deep strike thing maybe a little too much, and kind of not having fun with the rest of their demons. Overall, me personally, I'm not sure of this power level of this book. Now, traditionally, there's a lot of folks out there that have done really well with demons in the past. Nick Navabi won Adepticon like 3 or 4 years in a row with demons. You know, obviously he's a G when it comes to playing demons, and demons have that ability to just be good with their overlapping abilities. So it's possible that there's just a lot of stuff in here that we just haven't fully digested yet to see how it kind of works with Chaos keyword as a whole, or maybe just stuff in here that we're just not seeing. Also, maybe paired with some of the Forge World units there, but a lot of the bigger stuff is unplayable at this point just because the points increase from chapter approved. So I don't want to count this codex out. I'm just kind of like slightly raising an eyebrow at this codex at this point. I think if you're a demon player, definitely worth a pickup. It is not hot garbage by any means, but it's not something that you can just pick up and immediately know which direction to go in and have that, oh, this is clearly the way I want to play these kind of feel. So that's kind of where I'm at as a demon player myself, because I literally look at this book and I'm like, man, I have so many ideas, but there's so many question marks right now. So it's a little unfortunate that there's so much uncertainty just over this book, just over one little ruling for that particular stratagem that's really got so much kind of stuff in limbo and not really knowing how it works, because not only does it affect the stuff outside of the demon book, but it could, you know, also affect what units you would take from the demon book as a whole. So that's it for this one. Thanks for listening to my long-winded things you should know about the Chaos Demon book here in 8th edition Warhammer 40k. Now, if you like these type of features on the channel, we do one for all of the new Codex releases and supplement releases for Warhammer 40k. So work out those hobby muscles, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on so you can be the very first to like and comment on all these features.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.